Back before the 2021 season, the Tampa Bay Rays decided to invite not just their own number one prospect, but the number one prospect in all of baseball, Wander Franco, to spring training. He didn't make the team, but the hype was real. It was beyond real. He was just 20 years old, a shortstop, hit from both sides of the plate, had pop, was fast. I mean, we wouldn't know for sure until he made it to the big leagues and got some experience, but Wander Franco looked like a special talent in the making. The potential to be the greatest Tampa Bay Ray of all time, and multiple seasons into the young man's career, that potential was still as alive as ever. He was an incredibly valuable player, was locked in on a nice big contract, everyone was happy. Wander's happy, he's having a great time, and the Rays are just as happy, getting to have this guy on their team as they continue to win. But with almost seemingly the snap of a finger, all of that has now been taken away, likely forever. The Rays want nothing to do with Wander. Wander himself may not even have an easy time stepping foot in the United States ever again, and the potential future legend is done. But how did we get here? So welcome back to the channel, and if you're new or part of the 67% not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button if you enjoy the videos. Thank you. So Wander Franco continues to crush it in AAA, with it getting to the point where the Rays had no other choice than to call him up. He was ready, so by late June, they made the exciting decision with Wander making his MLB debut at Tropicana Field against the Red Sox, and instantly lived up to the hype, launching a 3-run home run for the first hit, home run, and RBIs of his career. He'd continue to play well the rest of the season, only playing 70 games, so him winning the Rookie of the Year award wasn't very realistic despite finishing third in the voting, but he was a good solid player for those first 70 games of his career. But it didn't stop there. The Rays made it to the playoffs, so the 20-year-old Wander Franco was able to get a taste of the postseason. It was only for 4 games because the Rays lost in the first round, but Wander did everything he could to keep his team alive, hitting .368 with an OPS over 1100 in those 4 games, drove in 4 runs, scored 5 runs, hit 2 home runs at Fenway Park in games 3 and 4. I mean, yes, even with the team going on to get eliminated in heartbreaking fashion, the Rays and their fan base had to feel good about the future of this team, with Wander at the front and center of it, especially with what happened just a month later. During the offseason of 2021 leading into 2022, the Rays had already seen enough to decide that they had full faith in Wander Franco to be their guy for the now and for the future, signing him to an 11-year contract extension worth $182 million, becoming the largest contract in Rays history by far, with Franco also becoming the youngest player in baseball history to sign a contract worth at least $100 million, with his deal also being the largest for any player with less than 1 year of Major League service time. 74 games is all we had of Wander at the big league level, and that's all there had to be seen before this historic contract. Unfortunately, he only played about half of the 2022 season because of injuries. The numbers he did put up while playing were decent, good enough, but 2023 was the real coming out party of Wander Franco. From opening day on, Wander was great. He really was. He may not have been the best, most powerful hitter out there, but he was still a good bat with more to his game that brought his overall value up. He had the speed to steal some bases while also playing terrific defense at shortstop. I mean, it got to the point where it was just boring, so he had to come up with little tricks to make things fun. After fielding a ground ball in a game against the Pirates, Wander would flip the ball in the air before firing it on a first for the out. This, of course, caused people to talk about whether it was a good or bad and immature thing for Wander to do, but however the fans felt about it, Wander's own manager Kevin Cash had his back, saying that his own son is going to want to practice that play with him now, but he unfortunately won't be able to because he can't relate to the amount of confidence that Wander plays with, calling it special. As smooth as that play was in Franco's overall game and how smooth the season was going, there were some bumps in the road, like when Cash decided to bench Wander for a couple games for the way he handled frustrations, with Cash saying, quote, "Wander is a really good kid, really good person. He's a young player that is learning and dealing with the challenges of being a major league player and some of the frustrations that come with it. Over the course of this season, there's been probably multiple times that the way he has handled his frustrations have not been the way that we ask our players to uphold being the best teammate." End quote. And although this was Cash and the team calling Wander out, it didn't seem very malicious at all. It seemed like they genuinely cared about the guy and were just doing what was best for him, not necessarily punishing him out of anger, with Cash going on to claim that he and the team will continue to support Wander and they look forward to having him back. So other than really just that moment, Wander's season was going really well on a Rays team that was doing really well overall. He continued to play well in all facets of his game, the hitting, the speed, the defense, coming in clutch when the team needed him. After the Guardians scored 3 runs to tie the game in the top of the ninth at the Trop, the very first hitter in the bottom of the inning, Wander Franco, would take the third pitch he saw deep into the right field stands for a walk-off homer. So that was the Friday night game, and the next night was only even more exciting for the team, with the Rays scoring 3 runs in the bottom of the ninth to walk off again, and the party just continued. Wander wasn't a part of that ninth inning rally though, looking at a cutter for strike 3, and little did anyone know at the time, but that may very well be the last we ever see Wander Franco on a baseball field. Out of seemingly nowhere, the next day, some stuff on social media started to come out regarding Wander Franco and an alleged relationship with a 14-year-old girl in the Dominican Republic. Ironically, Wander had the game off, and I don't think it was for that reason. It literally might have just been a normal day off for him, because the team wasn't even aware of these social media posts until after the game had already started. But it seems serious enough for the Rays to come out with their own statement on the matter, saying that them and Major League Baseball will take the situation seriously. You want to know something else pretty ironic? The game that was played that day, that Sunday, happened to be a giveaway game, a Wander Franco giveaway. It was a Wander Franco snapback hat that was given to fans attending the game, but not just any fan. It was specifically for fans 14 and under. So on the same day Wander Franco was being accused of having a relationship with a 14-year-old girl, a Wander Franco snapback hat to fans 14 and under was given to fans at Tropicana Field. That almost seems too perfect, like it's fake, but no, we are living in a sitcom, so that's genuinely what happened. And the next day, Wander and the Rays agreed that he'd be put on the restricted list, soon being put on administrative leave by Major League Baseball as the authorities in the Dominican Republic began their investigation. Wander's 2023 season was done. He never came back to play, and the Rays very quickly chose to disassociate themselves with him, getting rid of anything Wander Franco related at Tropicana Field. Now, a lot of people could use the argument that this was too premature of the Rays to do, considering nothing was confirmed or proven, and although that part is true, it makes sense for multiple reasons. Part of it is, of course, saving face and playing safe about the whole thing, but with the information that started coming out about the allegations, whether they were true or not, they didn't look good, and it became clear that Wander was not coming back for that season at least. And with the Rays storming into the playoffs, why promote a player that won't even be on the roster playing with the team? Just promote who you know will be there, and that's that. So the Rays did storm into the postseason with 99 wins, but it wasn't a very long postseason run, getting swept by the eventual World Series winning Texas Rangers in the wildcard series at the Trop in the most depressing way possible. The Rays played terribly in the 2 games they lost. They barely hit, scoring 1 run in both games combined, but not only that, Tropicana Field made history for having the lowest attendance for a playoff game in over 100 years. So you play lousy baseball to end your season in the lousiest and most lame environment possible. That sucks, and things have only gotten tougher to swallow for Rays fans for multiple reasons, like some of the moves they've made this offseason, but none as tough as what has since come out about Wander Franco and his situation. From that day, when the rumors started, all the way till recently, there had been some information on what may have happened, like Wander having a relationship with a girl he thought was 18, but was really 14. The mother of this 14-year-old child knew what was going on and decided to ask Wander for money and cars or whatever, so Wander may or may not have known she was 14, but basically the mother knew and approved of the relationship and used it as a way to extort money. There were also reports about other minors accusing Franco. Well, Wander is in some serious trouble. Recently, authorities in the Dominican Republic raided 2 of Wander Franco's houses, with him nowhere to be seen in either of them, with Wander then being summoned for questioning by authorities. Wander didn't show up to that either, at least not on time, showing up days later, and because of this, was arrested, and things continued to look worse and worse. There's not just one girl and child involved. There are multiple. At least 2 people have filed legal action against Franco, and he's under investigation for allegedly having a relationship with a 3rd minor. Dominican prosecutors have since accused Wander Franco of commercial sexual exploitation and money laundering. He's being accused of paying the mother hush money, with the mother facing the same charge as Wander is. Prosecutors requested that a judge hold Franco on an $86,000 bond, bar him from leaving the Dominican Republic, and place him under house arrest, requesting the judge to do the same for the mother, with those prosecutors also giving evidence to the judge. According to reporter Martin Rodriguez, after having had relations with the 14-year-old girl, Wander began paying monthly payments of 100,000 pesos to the girl's mother. Quote, "The young woman in the Wander Franco case is currently 15 years old, says the public ministry. When they raided the teenager's mother's house, they found 800,000 Dominican pesos in bills and $68,000 in bills, and a vehicle supposedly paid for by Franco." End quote. So what's going on here is incredibly messed up and just disgusting on both sides, obviously. The mother is out here knowingly letting her 14-year-old child have a relationship with an adult and using it as a way to get money. She's literally pimping out her own daughter, who again is a child. So that's incredibly effed up, and Wander's not doing any better. Whether he knew her actual age or not, he obviously could have pretty easily figured it out. And then the fact that she isn't even the only one, there are reported to be 3 different young girls involved, just terrible. Wander Franco may go down as one of the biggest what ifs in baseball history. I mean, he was the face of the Tampa Bay Rays for a reason. He was already making such an impact to his team and to the game of baseball, being one of the more talented players in the game by providing a ton of value offensively, defensively, and on the base paths. He was fun to watch, flashy, all while just barely being the legal age to drink in America. The future was so bright for not just him, but for the Rays because of him. But now, also because of him, the future of both parties just got a whole lot bleaker. The Rays overall, yeah, this sucks, but they should be fine. At the end of the day, they're still one of arguably the smartest organization in baseball, have a system that's been pumping out good productive players and winning teams for years now. They've been one of the most successful organizations in the game for 15 years now. So as much as it hurts to see their franchise player, someone who signed the biggest contract in their history, kill his own career, this won't kill them. At least it shouldn't. As for Wander himself, this pretty much kills any bright future he had. He had so much going for him, so many people on his side rooting him on and supporting him, whether it was his teammates, his coaches and manager like Kevin Cash, and of course the fans, Rays fans and baseball fans of all teams. He could have been a legend, but that's now all been thrown away and destroyed, made into a legacy that people won't look back at very fondly. There are a lot of bad things people do that can end in redemption, even some crimes, but when it comes to being a predator, there's no coming back from that. You're done as far as I'm concerned, and will never be looked at the same way or as a good person by the vast majority of people ever again. Forget his future in baseball. Wander Franco will never be able to have even a normal life now, most likely, and he has nobody to blame but himself.